Oh, what? Hello and welcome back to the Spotlight Games podcast for episode 168. I'm GWT Maury, and today we're talking about some Splatoon news, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, and so much more. But if you're looking for our Summer Games Fest content, wait for our big recap on this Thursday's episode of Drop In, Drop Out, or check out our live reactions at dropindropoutpod.com. Ladies and gentlemen, today on my left, your right, I'm joined by the one, the only, our sweet, sweet dumpster boy, Cayman Darty. Cayman, how you doing, baby?
Okay, so this is the first episode I've been back on since we came up with that video, and I was very caught off guard. Wow, that was shocking.
Yeah, a little inside baseball. You know who else was very caught off guard by that video?
Yo.
Listen, it's Maury's first time hosting, and I was like, all right, let's do this. And Maury just goes, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Spotlight Games. I'm like, no. And all of a sudden, the video starts, and he realizes, and I can see like a little thumbnail of his face while it's playing, and he's just going like this. his head in his hands. It was so funny. I'm so sorry. Intros.
No, it was so embarrassing. I want you to know that it's been at least 10 episodes that I've been on, and I've witnessed the intro music, and I forgot it was there, and I'm devastated. The way Jake said no to me, it was like a teacher when you say the most wrong fucking answer in class. Like, just nope, stop.
There was precious little time.
Yeah. Speaking of Jake, up under me, 1/3 of the Dirty Dogs, 2/3. My favorite place for him to be, Cayman. Jake motherfucking Twitchin', the short stream bandit, little of a lot of a little. How you doing, baby?
I'm doing so well. I'm fucking feeling the killer vibes this week of no like video game madness that's all behind us. Like yesterday was so cleansing and healing for me to not have like conference at this time, cut your clips, make your thumbnail, like very, very good. I'm feeling very good. How I'm feeling, Maury. Thanks for asking.
Of course. I love that. I agree. It's nice to have a little bit of time to unwind and slow down. And with that being said, I mean, we have a lot of video game stuff to talk about because this is the Spotlight Games podcast, where each week we highlight the latest and the greatest in the world of video games. You can get it by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Spotlight Games Pod, or by searching for Spotlight Games on your favorite podcast app. And hey, you can be on the show by tuning in as we record live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's now here on twitch.tv/dropindropoutpod. That is here. So be sure to follow us there so that you'll be notified when we're going live. Before we jump into what we're playing today, I want to ask you guys, have either of you guys seen the Final Destination movies?
Oh, brother. Oh, great question. I'll let Dumpster Boy take this one. Oh, want me to go and you can go dig them out?
Somewhere over here. Hold on. Oh, wait, this is a bit. We do it all the time.
All right.
I'm so excited.
I love it.
Jake, the reason why I'm asking this today is because Sedina made me sit down and watch Final Destination 3. There's 30 minutes left in the movie, and I think I love it. And I don't like horror movies.
3 started with 3?
Yeah, because I told her, I was like, I'm not watching any bullshit. Like, give me the best one.
Oh my God, you need to go back and watch 2. You need to watch 2. You need to watch 2.
Whoa.
3's the best. Got a great twist ending.
Wow.
Okay. There's the box set. There's another random one, and then when the next one comes out on physical, it'll be added. Okay, we don't fuck around in the Dumpster Boy household. We love. Did you know Final Destination 1, Maury? Did you know that it came out only a handful of months before 9/11? And why this is very important is because the way that movie starts off, the entire franchise starts, is with Devon Sawa going, oh, our plane's gonna blow up. So they just kick him off the plane and they're like, all right, go home, guys. Then the plane blows up and they're just like, oh, shucks. And it's like, this could only happen in a pre-9/11 world.
Yeah.
Final Destination universe exists in a pre-9/11 world.
Well, this is what's ironic, right? Because the only one that I've watched so far, because Sedina sat me down to watch 3, they reference 9/11 like 5 fucking times in that movie. It's fucking hilarious, bro. Like, and then they bring up like who they think is going to be in heaven or some shit. And they're like, Lincoln and Gandhi. Lincoln and Gandhi are in the pits of hell, humbly. But with that being said, if you love Lincoln, if you love Gandhi, my bad. Gentlemen, I want to talk about what we've been playing this past week. I guess I'm going to start with the lovely Jake fucking Twitchin.
Yeah, man.
What have you been playing?
Dude, I just got off my most recent thing that I've actually touched and gamed on is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. I got my hands on it.
Wow.
Pretty cool. I really like what they did this time. I remember being a little bit miffed because I wasn't sure when 1+2 was coming out which console I wanted to get it for, and you couldn't play the demo unless you pre-ordered the game, and I wasn't ready to like plant my flag, I guess, at that point. So I never got to play the demo, like the warehouse demo for 1+2, which of course very rad as well. However, this one for 3+4, which is launching day one on Game Pass, has the demo available on Game Pass. Like,
wow.
Like newly released games on Game Pass right now, the newly released game is Tony Hawk's 3+4 demo, and you can just go and snag that and play it. And it's really sick. It is really sick. You have 2 levels. You have the Foundry. I think it's called the Foundry, the first level of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. And then you also have school. No, it's not school. College. It's a place. Park. I think it's the name of it's the name of the city. It's the first level from 4. It's the name of the first level from 4.
Is that Venice?
No. It's like it just feels like it's like a park. There's floats that you can go up and down. There's like a parade going on. And basically you can pick between Tony Hawk or a new like younger skater that you could play as, or if you've pre-ordered the deluxe edition, you can play as the Doomslayer if you so desire in the demo. Now, granted, I didn't get this experience because there was a little snafu with my deluxe edition pre-order. There was an issue because I was doing the deluxe edition upgrade, having it unlock. Apparently it's fixed now, so I'm looking forward to getting in there and trying that hoverboard and all that. But man, 3+4 is really dope. And I am impressed with how both weird and cool it feels to play a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 level with a 2-minute timer, because Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 was like a big departure from the series. Prior to this, every single Tony Hawk run that you did was 2 minutes flat, and you had to do as many things as you could in those 2 minutes. And it was just like a time trial, repeat the run. Whereas 4 introduced like NPCs that gave you missions, and there was no time limit except for when you were actually in an active mission. There was a lot more variety in 4. So they're changing some things with 3 and 4, but it all feels good. Maury, you like Tony Hawk?
So my limited experience with Tony Hawk was that when I was a skater kid growing up, I was a skater boy. I played it at the skate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dumpster Boy, what about you?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 is arguably one of my favorite sports games of all time, but potentially even one of my favorite games of all time.
Wow.
When I was a kid growing up, I put so much time on the PlayStation 2 into Pro Skater 3, specifically the LA level, because keep in mind, Maury, this was a long time ago. You were potentially still in diapers when this was happening. You didn't have the internet was something that you just didn't have like access to, you know?
Yeah.
And so you just had to figure shit out on your own. So when I figured out that you can cause an earthquake in LA, that completely changes the entire map of that level. Oh, brother. I would just sit there and that soundtrack. Oh, fuck yeah. I think the reason I like ska music is because of Tony Hawk. 100% because of Tony Hawk.
I love it.
Isn't there some level of controversy because didn't some of the songs get removed in the new 3 and 4 remake or something?
Okay. So that's a really, really good topic, and it brings to light like the other big difference. And this game has been like a little bit criticized, not really like controversial or anything like that. I think some people hemmed and hawed that basically Tony Hawk's 1+2 is pretty comprehensively a remake. Like it is the levels of 1, the levels of 2, a little bit of the gameplay from 3 where they like brought the reverb back and it's all a little bit smoother and stuff like that. But all of the music and stuff is exactly the same, I'm pretty sure. 3+4, there's a lot of things that need to change for sure, just from like 4's level design to make it work in the 1+2 or 3+4 engine, or however they do their single player campaign modes. But they also have some songs that are not returning, and then some new songs introduced. And I was one of the people who's a little bit worried about this because I'm kind of like a purist with that. Like I want to go back and have those nostalgia bits. But okay, listen. To get a little bit ahead of myself for Thursday's show. They had the trailer for 3+4 that had the fucking CKY Bam Margera gameplay where it's going.
What is that? 96 Quiet Beings from
I think something like that. Yeah,
Wow.
it goes incredible. And then I boot up the game, and the opening cutscene takes place over the Ace of Spades. I'm like, okay, I'm fucking home. And then I get to the main menu, and Lupe Fiasco's Kick Push is playing, which was not on the soundtrack for Tony Hawk's Pro Skier 3 or 4, or to my knowledge, any other Tony Hawk's game. However, it felt fucking perfect.
Wow.
It felt perfect. I mean, it's a song about skateboarding, but
do we get the funky Homo sapien? That was 3.
One of the fucking 3 songs on there. If you must, you gotta brush your teeth. It's so fucking good. Or else you'll be funky. Yes.
Yeah.
It's on there.
Wow.
It's on there. It's
Hell
really
yeah.
good. Kick Push works. I am over the moon about this. I can't wait for the game to launch. Go grab the demo if you're on Game Pass. So sick.
Tough.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I picked it up for Fantasy Critic already. So
smart. Very smart.
Wow.
Very smart.
Good man. Good man. What else have you been playing this week, Jake?
The only other thing that I'm doing right now is I went headfirst into Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, obviously, I played a lot of Mario Kart in the past week, but outside of Mario Kart, which is, a little bit of a one-trick pony, there's a couple modes and stuff like that. I needed something to like dig my teeth into on Switch 2, and I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom since it came out a little more than 2 years ago now. And when I played it, I also kind of just like beelined it through everything that I did. Because I was racing everybody to finish it and not get spoiled. And it's a weird non-linear game, so it's tough to talk about with people without them having different experiences to you because there's so much like emergent gameplay that happens. However, this time, taking my time, man. I'm like 8 or 9 hours and I'm just cooling. I just be chilling, taking in the sights sometimes, exploring a cave, teleporting around, having a blast. Love getting lost in the world, and it runs just as well as you hope it would. It is really a spectacular experience. And the app functionality that they added for Switch 2, which is like the big Switch 2 edition upgrade, honestly, outside of like the visual fidelity, is really so fucking useful. Like, I lived in the world of like the best way to track your shrine progress was using like the IGN interactive map.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I'm not trying to do the fucking interactive map and make an IGN account. It's 2025.
Right.
I don't even like that website.
Oh, it's awful. Have you tried to use? Hold on. Have you tried to use IGN's website like on mobile, like their guides?
Dude.
It is broken.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Broken, and the ads that take up the it's super predatory at this point.
The most terrible experience I had on IGN trying to track down collectibles. I don't know if you guys remember this. I don't know, but do you remember Infamous 1's blast shards? Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's like 300 of them scattered across the map. They're damn near impossible to find. There's no way to get a marker on your map of where they are, and you have to track down every single one individually. It won't tell you which ones you got and which ones you didn't. And I remember having IGN's page open when I was trying to get that platinum. I called it a week. I called it a year. Didn't platinum Infamous 1, but great fucking game.
For sure.
Well, Cayman, what have you been playing? I know one of the games you've been playing, and I'm so excited to hear what you think. So fucking excited.
Okay, so first I want to say that here in a minute I'm gonna bloviate for a second and talk about Lost in Random, which we actually got a review code for and allowed me to play the game early so that I could get a full review out for you for today, which is the embargo release. So I hope you guys are ready for that. But I'm gonna sink some time into that to kind of explain. Really want to talk about what led me to the dumbest decision I've made in a long time. And that is Sonic Frontiers. I thought, after the Halo Jamboree, I felt bad for Jake. I was like, I was the one that initiated the bald cap, Richard shirt, whole thing. So I said, I'm going to do Jake the honors, and I'm going to play his favorite game from like however long ago Sonic Frontiers came out. Jake, you know that I love you. You know that I respect you deeply.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
My friend, that game is so broken.
Oh.
Fundamentally just broken.
Oh.
I couldn't put more.
Point to the one that hurt you.
I'm gonna just point to where's Sonic on that, because he fell through the map. He fell through the map so many times within the first hour. I was like, I just can't do this. I can't do this. Absolutely can't do this. I stopped. And then I said, I'm going to honor Jake in a different way. And I blew myself and played Avatar, the Battle for Pandora, or
Frontiers
Avatar,
of Pandora.
Frontiers of Pandora. Whatever the name of that game. It is interesting. I'm a huge, massive fan because they did the Division, which shout out to Ubisoft for giving us a free code to do the Battle for Brooklyn DLC. Fucking great DLC. If you haven't played the Division, go play that. Probably go play that before you play Avatar. Maybe. I don't know. I'm about 3 hours in. It's not bad. It's not a bad game. It is a game that there are very interesting ideas that I don't know if I love. And I think the big thing is the traversal mechanic. Right now, I don't have one of those dinosaur bird things. And so I'm just having to run everywhere. And brother, I'm lost half the time. The environment is so pretty and vibrant, but it just blends together. And so it's just like all of these bright colors, and it's really tough, especially when you're running and you're like, I have no fucking clue where I'm going. I'm going to stick with it just because I really want a big AAA game that I can just play in the background when I have some downtime. I've been playing a lot of dumpster dives lately, and I've sunk a ton of time into Lost and Random, so I just wanted a big title. I don't think I've played outside of Clear Obscure. I haven't played like a really big AAA game. But man, Avatar, I wish it was Division 3. I think is where I'm at. Jake, I know you've played some of that.
Yeah.
So thoughts?
I kind of like that game.
Wow.
I also got a code for that from Ubisoft, but I only played it because there was a expansion pack coming out at the time, was the promotion that they were kind of running, and it was the one that's like based loosely off of like the Olympic Games of Pandora, and that shit goes fucking hard. Look up the opening cutscene of that expansion. I forgot what it's called, but it's kind of sick. However, I kind of like Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I think it's got a strong opening couple hours where it guides you before it knocks the training wheels off. It brings you through like some pretty curated experiences where you go from like internal or I guess like indoor environments, and then you kind of step out into the forest for the first time,
really
and
cool.
it is like a super pretty game. And then you do some stuff like meeting some of your homies and doing some hunting things, and then the day night cycle thing starts, and you climb like one of the really tall mountains, which is super rad, and you go up there and you're seeing all of the, what's the opposite of like fauna is like animals. What's flora and fauna? Flora.
Yeah.
The flora. You're seeing all the flora, and that game is just like such a spectacle. And then you take like your first leap of faith. That entire sequence, I think, is super strong.
It is really
and then from there, it is kind of just like,
Far Cry.
Avatar. Yeah,
Far Cry with blue
It's like
people.
Far Cry. Yeah, exactly. It's the same
Blue people.
Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, that kind of thing. But I feel like even though I haven't really desired that, like right now, if I had to choose one to play, I would skip over Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I would go and play Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is the one that interests me the most. If I want to go like climb some towers and clear some fucking enemy encampments, I would rather play Avatar right now.
Wow.
So good news is I can say this. Good news is if you are interested in playing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, it's on sale right now, or at least it was. I think you might have a day left to pick it up on PlayStation Plus. You can get it for like $20. And that's what I did. So I was able to get it super distant.
Right?
Yeah, I got it
No,
super
20 is a little
$10 is where we do the cutoff, but we'll talk about a little bit more of the cutoff here in a minute. I'm going to stick with it. I definitely think it's going to be a game that I am going to play on the Portal while fucking off. Because games like Assassin's Creed, I've probably played almost the entirety of Mirage on the Portal. And it's one of those games, those Far Cry, Assassin's Creed type games, I feel like are really good in handheld mode because you can just do it while you got something on the TV. And it's so easy to just burn through all that, like, clear outposts, clear encampments, just rinse and repeat shit. And you can do it in handheld mode while you're fucking watching, some anime in the background. Hell, or watching Avatar in this case in the background. Definitely not watching Michael Fassbender's Assassin's Creed movie in the background.
Yeah, that shit's ass. That's a bad movie. That's a bad movie. I'm so shocked that you guys like Frontiers of Pan. I mean, I don't know if like is the word, but you guys have like found some redeemable qualities in it. I bought it back in like December or November of last year because they had a sale at GameStop, or I think it was at Walmart, where you could get it brand new for $20. And I love physical. So I went and I picked it up. I dumped like 2 hours into it. I've never felt more despair in my life. Oh my God. They're like, go pick up the plants. Go pick up some more of the plants. Go have a useless conversation with one of the people inside of the hut. And I don't know, I really struggle with the dialogue in the game. But what I will say is that that's one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. The flora looks crazy, dude. The fauna, like all of it is nuts. Like genuinely, I wish that like more time was maybe put into like the opening hours of like the narrative. Like I just wanted to be more bought in, and I didn't feel like I was very bought in from what I saw. And I know you're one of the little kids and the guy's bad and he's like, oh, fuck the kids, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna fuck the guy, but that didn't do a lot for me. So
fucking guys didn't do a lot for you this
no
time?
dude trust me,
much different vibes out at the beginning of this game.
All right.
right. well, what else have you been playing, Cayman, besides
all right,
Avatar?
now I'm gonna sink some time into this one. Okay, so shout out to Thunderful Games first and foremost, because I have to preface this to say that we got the review code so that I could play it early. We got the game for free. Game comes out June 17th. And so it's going to come out at $25. So normally, this is very interesting. And I preface all of this to say is that normally the games that I cover for Dido, a lot of times are dumpster dives under $10. So it's rare that I play a game that at release is not $10 or less, at least for the show. Yeah. And this time I got to actually like look at it through the lens of, will this be a future dumpster dive? And I can astutely say that this will 1000% be a future dumpster dive.
Love that.
Yeah, I would say I beat the game around 12 to 15 hours is when I beat the game. And the game itself, so Lost in Random, The Eternal Die is the game. And keep in mind the subtitle there is important because this is a sequel. The original Lost in Random, I think, came out in 2017, maybe later, maybe it's 2021, something like that. Came out through EA, which is interesting. But it was kind of like a very story-driven, kind of action-y platformer, set in a really interesting world, kind of Tim Burton-esque. The sequel picks up where you actually play as the villain from the first game. And it is a whole like redemption arc of like, you go into the Black Die to get your vengeance for this monster, this entity that's essentially ruins your life. And then along the way, you get to meet characters from the first game that are like helping you along the way, that like forgiving you for the things that you've done. So it's a very interesting game. It's very much like Hades, isometric, roguelike RPG. It's got a really satisfying mechanic of like every run you feel stronger. Every run you feel like you're getting a little bit better. I do wish that maybe there's a little bit larger selection in weapons. You get 4 weapons: a spear, sword, bow and arrow, and a mace. I played it with the mace, which I rarely ever play with heavy weapons, but like this was like the best weapon in the game to me, which was interesting of like how you can build your runs. Every run feels good. Every run feels different. RNG will fuck you in the ass so many times. But you'll also get to run like the run that I used to beat the entire game. Essentially built this where I was freezing enemies. And because if I could freeze them or if they were chilled, I would do double critical hit damage. Jesus. So then I just like built off of that by like super maxing how often I could hit crits. And then was chilling enemies on every hit. And then I was also slowing time if I got hit. So my run was wild. And that's, I think, the perfect quality of a roguelite is when you have one of those god runs that just feels like you're untouchable. And that was one of those runs. What I love about the game is it doesn't overstay its welcome. Hades, I felt like really fucked with my time. Because I beat the game and it was like, beat me again, daddy. And beat me again, daddy, before you got to beat me one more time, daddy. And it's just like, fucking leave me alone. Like, if I beat you one run, I want to feel satisfied. This game does it. When you beat the game, it's like, hey, you're good. Now, if you didn't clear the side stuff, you can continue to do it. You can boost the difficulty, stuff like that. And then you can get like a better ending. So it felt good, and it gave me a reason to go back and do a run after beating the game without being like, you have to do this or you did not beat the game, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's one of those things I feel like roguelikes have a tendency to try to pull the rug out from underneath you. None Holy does the same thing. So I was really happy that it didn't overstay its welcome. The gameplay is really smooth, had 0 bugs the entire time, which for a AA release, a game with no bugs, pretty fantastic. Let's see. The other thing I would say is that it does have an easy mode. And this is a really interesting concept that I do think is really important for everyone to know, especially developers. If you lose or die, it drops the damage you take by 5%.
Wow.
And it stacks up to 65%. So you aren't just putting it on easy mode and then just blasting your way through. Like, the game will just get a little bit easier every time you die. And I think that makes it where it doesn't feel like you're just like cheating and not getting the experience the game wants you to have. But it also understands that like not everyone will be able to beat the game naturally because the game is not easy. And so even with like powering up and leveling up, which you can do with permanent stats, this mode I definitely think is going to help the people who are like, I just want to enjoy this game. I just want to play it. I want to be able to beat the game without being beat over the head with it. I love that inclusion. I think this is really clever. Game drops June 17th. I highly recommend it. You can pick it up on all platforms. I played it on Steam. I played 99% of it on the Steam Deck as well. And it is perfect for the Steam Deck. So definitely recommend if you are interested, if you like roguelites, if you just want to support indie developers, definitely check out Lost in Random: The Eternal Die. Really good time.
I have so much to say because number one, Cayman, I'm so grateful that you got access to it because now I have a reliable resource to go to see if I should purchase it. I will get into those thoughts in just a quick second. I want to say hi to some of the people in chat because, guys, my name is GWC Mori. It's my first time hosting, and I just missed all of you, but fucking hell, I love you. For starters, shout out to Rabbit for subscribing for 3 months at tier 1, and they've now been subscribed for 4 fucking months. I read from Rabbit: long curly hair, hat, and bald, more like fuck, marry, kill. So what that means is I'm getting fucked, Cayman's getting married, and we're killing Jake. I fucking love it. Finally.
It sounds like we all win.
Yeah, right. So what's up, Rabbit? Thanks for subscribing. And I also see Coal Mine, Sierra Shard, Kayla, the Dumpster Boy here live with us. Willow's Wonders, Brutta Man Gaming, Cognitive Clips, Jake Twitchin's in the chat as well. I see Eula. What's up, Eula? I see Peachwag, the host of the show with Cayman whenever me and Jake aren't burying it like I am right now. And just a lot of beautiful people. I'm so excited for this game because I thought it was so interesting that for starters, if I'm not mistaken, Cayman, it's not the same developer as Lost in Random because I think because the people who did Lost in Random are Moonhood Studios. The people that did that game originally went and made Moonhood Studios, and they just released the Midnight Walk. But I really like that they're taking the villain from the first game, making that the main character. You know I love redemption arcs. You know I love redemption stories. I also love a roguelike. And so anything that reminds me of Hades is going to make me excited. So I'll definitely be there day and date. Jake, do you have any opinions about playing Lost in Random?
No, I haven't gotten to play it yet. I do have a key waiting for me, but I wanted to ask Dumpster Boy, in a game like this, for some reason, like maybe such a like top-down roguelike, like I feel like more often than not, those games get like put out in like early access. You know,
yeah.
Does this feel like a 1.0? Does it feel complete to you? I'm sure, just like most games, there will be like future updates. But does it feel like at this time, getting in on day one, is that the move?
I would say so. You get 4 levels to go through, and they're obviously increasing in difficulty. I think to beat the first boss, it took me like 7 or 8 runs to get good enough to beat the first boss. Then it took me roughly about the same time to beat the second boss. Third boss is dual bosses. So it'll like extend out anymore. So by the time it was done, I would say I probably put anywhere from 30 to 40 runs to meet. And I beat the final boss in one go. And I really think the only reason that happened was because I legitimately had the greatest RNG to have like the best build for my particular type of playstyle. And so I think because of that, I do think, especially at a $25 price point, there is absolutely nothing wrong with the content you get. This is one of those times where I'm like, this is priced perfectly. I think $25 is going to get you 10 to 15 hours, and I think that that's great. You'll probably get that same amount of time with an $80 game this year at some point too. So like, you know, for what it's worth, I think it's good. Like I said, I feel like it's a little light on weapon options, but one of the big cruxes of it is that you get like power-ups in game, and I didn't even scratch the surface of the number of power-ups you can get. And so like there's definitely a world, and if you go back in and play it to do like the increasing difficulty tiers, you can get even more time out of it. I specifically kind of stopped at that point just because I wanted to make sure that I beat the game, got my experience out of it, so I could at least give a review. Which we do have a short form review up right now on YouTube for Lost and Random, also on all socials. And Cognitive Clips in the chat also has a really good review out on socials right now as well. A little short review that he did, and he should have a longer form video talking about the game at greater length here in the future as well. So definitely check those out. I think those are very good, and will give you a lot of context as well. But yeah, I definitely think picking it up, I think it's a full-fledged game, and I think at $25 price point, you're getting your money's worth, and I think that's all you can ask for.
Tough.
Look at the multiple opinions you can get under the umbrella of Drop In Drop Out podcast. I mean, come on, Cognitive Clips, Spotlight Games, Drop In Drop Out, incredible.
It's an amazing time. It's an amazing time. I am so excited to play that game, but the game that has been eating up my time, my first run was with none other than Jake Twitchin here today, is Elden Ring fucking Night Rain, dude.
Yeah.
By the way, Dumpster Boys fantasy critic, you picked up that game. So everyone here has some tie to this game right now. I love Soulsborne games. That's a given. I platinum Bloodborne. I platinum Elden Ring. I fucking love From Software. I wish Sony would acquire them. I don't think they will. It's a real shame. I have put, I think, about 30 hours into Night Rain so far in the past, week and a half that it's been out. I've beaten every boss in the game. I have put an inordinate amount of effort into this game. I'm using the LFG Discord that they built so that you can go find people, because let me tell you right now, if you're not LFGing for players and you're hopping in with the randoms, you're going to have a fucking miserable time. Don't do it. But oh my God, dude, like the boss designs in this game, they're so good. At first, when I saw this game, I was like, oh, that's weird. Like, I think everybody wanted some form of a multiplayer From Software game, but I really didn't think that this was what I wanted from them. You know what I mean? Like, it's got a storm that closes in, kind of like Fortnite with the circles, kind of like a battle royale. You know, you're running from one boss to another. And I thought that would get really tedious and exhausting. And I thought it would get kind of boring over time. No, every run, like trying to get the right RNG, trying to get the right camp so that you can get the proper weapon affiliations so that you can do the right amount of damage to the boss, you know, saying, fuck it, we're going to run back to the left side, even though storm's closing in over there. And we're going to do the Ever Jail, and we're going to fight the fucking dragon, even though we're running out of time. It's so good. I want to platinum this game. I think the hardest trophy is going to be defeating the final Night Lord with every character, including Mike Hawk, Jake Twitchin's original.
Yeah,
Mike Hawk.
Yeah,
Mike Hawk.
Yeah, Mike Hawk.
The
His
name's
name's
Hawk. Mike Hawk.
Dumpster Boy. His name's Mike Hawk. What's wrong with Mike Hawk?
I actually gave up on Mike Hawk for a while, and I've been playing as the other one, Mike Hunt. And Mike Hunt has been absolutely crushing for me. I've been playing this.
Which one is Mike
he's
Hunt?
Like John Elden Ring.
Now I know who you're talking about.
Oh,
Shit.
yes,
Right.
Mike Hunt, John Elden Ring.
yeah. Goes by many names. Has been really good for me. But yeah, dude, I'm pretty fucking hot on this game. I really enjoyed my time. Even with you on day one. Wasn't that fun, dude? Like running around.
Great.
You weren't even on like stream. You were just in chat listening to my stream. And I was like, Maury, follow me. And you're like, how do I get mana? I'm like, I don't play that, dude.
No, I wasn't even that eloquent, because as I'm running with my hand, I'm typing with the other how get mana. Like I literally, I was having a stroke playing with Jake that first fucking day.
Dude.
No, it's so good. Oh.
Yeah, it really is. I think that like it lends itself to that kind of gameplay where you're kind of like making these moments by accident all the time. Like you were just saying with the Everjail, like cutting it close and the storm's coming in and like you're close enough to that wall, but you still have like a quarter of that thing's health. And then the gamble, like, do we try to kill this thing right now? Or do we start running? Or like, can we heal through it? And then if you do, it's such a great success, and if you fucking lose, it feels so terrible. And there's a really nice push and pull. Like, I think that game works on more levels than it like even should, and I felt that way during the beta as well. But yeah, everything Maury said rings true. Are you talking to like randoms and doing voice chat with them and shit?
Yeah. Because I won't expose I'm gonna say this. My one criticism of this game so far is just that, like, holy shit, you can tell that From Software was not ready to design a multiplayer game, like, not to this capacity. You know, having no cross-platform is like a huge loss in 2025. Like, the fact that I can't play with my brothers because they're on Xbox is just bullshit. Like, there's no reason for that to be a problem.
That's insane.
Yeah, and even beyond that, though, having no voice chat at all is crazy. Like, in a game so intense with that, it just requires so much cohesion and people working together and listening to call outs and moving the right way. Like, the idea of jumping in and playing with randoms where, like, I'm hoping they see that I ping the map and I'm hoping they follow me and I'm hoping they don't have a mind of their own is just like a hell I don't wish to put myself through. And I think that that's my biggest criticism of the game. And it's going to drop it a lot this year for me. I think I shouldn't have to use a third-party application to find people to play with so that I can talk to them. Like, that should have been built into your game, I think.
I feel like we could... Yeah, you go, Dumpster Boy.
Come on, baby.
Are you screaming at these people too?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You fucking losing your fucking shit. You are abusing a crippled man live on stream.
Yo. There was one point where I said to Cayman, I think I said to him, I said, why the fuck did you shoot me, Cayman? You fucking moron. And he said to me, the fuck did you say to me? And I was like, oh my God, yo, I knew I fucked up.
All right. Yeah. I want to ask you, because I can't remember. I'm trying to think of the last time that I just did like voice chat with another player for something like randomly, dude. I'm thinking like I've been in like some Fortnite lobbies on stream with voice chat on to like see what kind of memes we can fucking pull out of people, and some insane Call of Duty launch night vibes where, you know, it feels like fucking 2007 all over again. But I can't think of the last time where I was just like, I think I'm just gonna like party up with these two random people and we'll all hop on. What do you do, Discord?
No, we just use a PlayStation party.
Oh, just PlayStation party, and then you guys all hop in there. You're like, hey man, I'm TWT Maury.
Basically,
can you tell me, like, walking through one of these interactions, dude? What is? Tell me about some of the people you met.
Oh, get ready, because I have the craziest story, and I saved it. I almost called both of you 2 days ago to tell you about this, and I stopped myself so that I could do it right here. I'm sitting with this guy. This guy's like fucking cracked. All right. Mr. Limick. All right. You're going to find him on the game sweating. All right. And we're sitting there, we're chatting. Dude's got a thick ass accent. So I'm like, yo, where are you from, bro? He's like, oh, I'm from Poland. I'm like, oh, that's dope. And in my head, I'm like, I'm going to ask him what he does, because why not? And then I'm like, nah, it's not that kind of day. I'm feeling kind of introverted, but like, I'm trying to win. I'm trying to beat some bosses. This guy's playing out of his fucking mind. All right. Like different level of player. So we run like 3 fucking expeditions together. And on the 3rd expedition, we're sitting there. Somehow we're talking about the gameplay design or something. He's like, yeah, I'm actually a game designer myself. So it's really good. It's really solid. I'm like, oh, that's dope. Like, what are you working on? And we have another random in the party with us. And he's like, oh, I'm working on The Witcher. And the guy says, oh, you're working on a Witcher game? He's like, no, I'm working on The Witcher, the Witcher 4. What the fuck?
That's sick.
I proceed to talk this dude's ear off for the next 30 minutes. Dude works at CD Projekt Red. You know, I tried to get some insider information. Obviously, I would never share that here. But my God, this dude was so cool. Chatted to him about like how you break into the industry. Started helping me like work out a portfolio. Told me to message him on LinkedIn. Got him added there. Dude is so cool. He's like a senior fucking designer. He designed every gun in Cyberpunk. Every gun you see in Cyberpunk, he designed specifically. Like this dude, these are the stories that you find just jumping into an LFG Discord for Elden Ring fucking Night Rain. Like, dude was so cool. You're
built different. That's fucking crazy. That sounds so foreign to me. I'm like, like I would never, like, I mean, I guess I did when I was your age. Like I was playing in like Halo 3 fucking clans with a bunch of people I'd never met in real life. And we were all homies and whatnot, but yeah, it just feels so crazy. I'm so far removed from that. That's awesome.
I have to tell this story about the time I got a rap name by some, get ready for this, Houston rappers. So you know, it's dealing some real fucking hard asses, you know, dudes from fucking Houston. They got the name Big Beans was my rap name.
Big Beans.
Big Beans. We were playing, guess what? Division.
No
shit. Division game. We're playing the first division game, and I'm playing with these guys, and I never come off mute. but they're like chatting it up. And I like busted out lone wolf this shit and like went out and just absolutely just wreaked havoc. And they're like, whoa, look at this fucking big beans. Guys got big beans. And so I come off mute and I'm like, haven't said anything this entire time. I like come off mute and I'm like, I like said something. I forgot what I said to them. And they're like, fucking big beans. They would like hit me up for like months. We would play together. And they were like, they were like, yo, big beans, you want to hear a sample from a song we're about to drop? I'm like, yeah, sure. I don't fucking know. These guys could be fucking massive famous right now. No fucking idea. Or because they're Houston rappers, probably dead.
Wow.
Holy shit, they're not. You know,
fucking shit.
But tell me I'm wrong, Maury.
You're not. That or Memphis rappers, bro. Like it's one or the other. Oh my god, dude, it's a great time. It's a great experience. You meet some like just the amount of crazy interactions I've had just talking to random people on the internet is too many to count, frankly. With that being said, we're gonna jump into some games news today. Our first headline, our first story. Splatoon Raiders, the first Splatoon spinoff, announced for Nintendo Switch 2, and a new Splatoon 3 update and Switch 2 upgrades are coming on June 12th. Gentlemen, this was breaking news right before we went live on the show. I didn't even know it got announced until I jumped into the stream when we started chatting it up. Do we have any Splatooners in chat? Are you guys some Splatooners?
I am.
Okay.
I mean, I'm newly, like, I bought Splatoon 3. I played the open S Splat or whatever when they had that for Switch. It was probably 2.5, 3 years ago now at this point. I don't know when Splatoon 3 came, but time is a flat circle. But I played that open Splat thing where you could just do like the teams of 3 and check out all the new features. And that happened, and it coincided with like a Splatoon 3 focused direct that was like 18 minutes long. Okay. I remember watching that, and dude, I feel like for some reason I've watched PlayStation State of Plays that are about single games, but Nintendo's individual fucking Nintendo Directs that they do for games are so good. Yeah. Like the Mario Kart one is a little tough of a watch because it's also familiar to us, and that's like the most recent example of it. But 2 times during the Switch's life cycle, I was sold on something that I thought I would never be interested in, and they were rock solid fucking predictions. So I watched the Splatoon 3 one and got sold on getting into that open Splat program thing, and then trying the game before it came out, and played it so much over the course of that weekend that I pre-ordered the game and just played the fuck out of it when it came out. Had a blast playing Splatoon 3. In fact, with this update coming out on the 12th, I will probably do some Splatoon 3 streams this weekend. Wow. I'm sure people are going to be way better than me now. I'm never good at those kind of games, but it was like the year that it came out, it filled my Call of Duty need, you know, of like match-made games, shoot, pop people in the face, hop off, like just did a couple rounds for 40 minutes type of thing. And I had a blast with it. But it also happened the other game, not to leave you hanging on that one. It was Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Watched that whole thing. They explained it to me. Not only was that my game of the year in 2021, but it's one of my favorite games of all time. It's in my top 25. I fucking love that game.
Wow.
So yeah, I really, really am fond of Splatoon 3, but this new one, this spin-off, is very interesting. It stars, you guys remember when I did that bit about Splatoon characters being hot?
Yeah. Do you mean the video that I got us shadow banned on Instagram? Yeah. Brother, do I remember? Because we Splatooned on her back, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I do remember that. That is an insane video. Go look at it. Drop in, drop out pod on all social networks. Where I was like, sounds like you guys haven't been looking at Shiver enough. Shiver from Splatoon 3. I think it's like Shiver, one of Shiver's friends, they're 2 people, it's the 3 people that do the intro to Splatoon 3. You know, every time you boot up Splatoon, you guys probably even know this, like from the zeitgeist. Every time you boot up Splatoon, there's like newscasters. They're like, here's what's going on in Inkopolis, blah, 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 blah. The new Splatoon Fest is happening. And they're kind of like, in the fandom, they're pretty like well regarded, but obviously they've only been relegated to this little like side role. But in this new spin-off, it looks like they're going to be the main playable characters, along with like the big stingray looking fish man, who's I believe his name is Big Man. I'm not positive on that. You'll have to fact check me in the comments, YouTube VOD watchers or podcast listeners. However, it looks like it's a different thing. Like I don't know. Details are sparse. It's like a minute and a half. There's only like 15 seconds of gameplay in the trailer. A lot of it is CGI and kind of table setting, but you're playing as a mechanic is their role, and they are traveling with like a robotic companion of some sort. And you still have ink guns and big open spaces and stuff like that, but everything else is I have no idea what the fuck is coming. But honestly, I'm in sight unseen for a Splatoon spinoff. I think Splatoon's awesome.
Yeah,
Way better than it should be.
I want to throw out some. I want to throw out some predictions here. I want what you guys think, gameplay wise, because to your point, I don't think we know what this game is yet, right? Like, there's no. We just know it's Splatoon universe.
Yep.
Do we think it is real time strategy a la Mario plus Rabbids in the Splatoon universe?
No, it's still actually it still looks like third person shooter.
Okay. So real time, feeling cold. Am I getting hotter with extraction shooter?
Oh my god.
Probably.
Oh
yeah, I'm hot. The other one I thought is just like a standard action shooter, third person action shooter platformer.
Interesting.
I don't think so. For some reason I got like the vibe of like a big Battlefield type of thing.
Okay. So we're feeling more extraction shooter in the Splatoon universe.
I bet honestly extraction shooter elements. I bet you're right.
Yeah.
I was about to say, for you to make a Splatoon spinoff, like I feel like the only thing that could mean is that it has to be like another style of gameplay to some extent. Because like, I don't know, is the Splatoon universe that like rich that like you need to do the equivalent of a Halo Reach to clarify to people that the story's changing? I don't think Splatoon has a deep lore or a deep story. So
it's got shiver.
Okay, first of all, you should fucking look up the Splatoon lore. It's insane as fuck.
Really?
I think that's our lore. I think that's our dude. Acquaintance of the show. I won't even call him friend of the show because it's a little one-sided. Taco TAHK0 was doing a playthrough of Splatoon 3, and it was like a Splatoon 3 lore playthrough, was reading all this stuff like on the lockers and in the world and pausing during cutscenes to try to piece things together. It's fucking bonkers, dude. And the people that care are out there.
What I'm hearing is that Splatoon, the series, has a better story than Elden Ring.
Yeah,
this is bullshit. No, this is for bullshit. Sure. No, I'm not listening.
It's actually, here's what I'll say. It's actually pretty similar to Elden Ring in the way that it's like delivered. It's like, here's like a 15-second cutscene where two characters stare at each other, and then there's a boss fight, and then you read the fucking report that the boss dropped on the ground, and then read the notes in the locker and exhaust the dialogue options back in the main city with the fucking NPC. And then you go back out. Like, you have to get context clues to figure out what's going on, and then watch a video essay to figure out what the fuck was all about.
I can just imagine. I can just imagine Votvidya, who does all the Dark Souls. You know what I got? The guy with the perfect voice.
Yes,
Votvidya doing a fucking lore video for Splatoon. You know what? Let's make him friend of the show.
For sure, Votvidya, friend of the show.
Yeah, he'll do it. Bro.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy raised me. My fucking god. Watching all the Bloodborne fucking breakdown videos from that guy at like 14 years old, 15 years old. I love him. He's so sexy and his voice is so sensual. Jesus, I would do naughty things to him.
I want to just like follow up on what Kamen is saying with the, you know, where do you go with Splatoon from here? And really what's been happening is like since Splatoon 2's DLC, they've been kind of throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks for like these different modes. Like I think they did pretty well. The downloadable, it's like the Octo something campaign for 2 was pretty good. It added like the Octolings who go along with the Inklings. It kind of doubled the cast and the roster and added some variety there. And I think that was more of like a single player experience as well. And then 2 also introduced like Salmon Run, which is kind of your horde mode, which people really love. And then I'm pretty sure, well, Splatoon 3 single player campaign was very much a actual like Nintendo campaign. There's a lot of challenges, a lot of like boss fights. It's a pretty good single player experience, definitely better than anything else in the Splatoon universe. If you're going to play that alone, Splatoon 3 is the way to go. And then the DLC Side Order, if you guys remember like the trailers for it, probably more than the gameplay of it, it was the one that came out during like a Nintendo Direct where the whole city was like a blank canvas. It kind of looked like Chicory, like it was all like a sepia tone, like white city, and then obviously you ink that up, and I think that had roguelike elements where you were kind of trying to beat the rounds and see how far you can go type of thing. So I would guess like extraction shooter makes sense, but I wonder if this was like, hey, is this Splatoon 4 side mode, or is this Splatoon 3 DLC, or is this the one that they finally found a combination that's so good that they put out a side game? And I mean, that seems to be like, I don't know if the mission was let's put on a Splatoon side game. I'm assuming the mission was let's make more Splatoon content, and then it got so good or big in scope that they were like, this could be its own thing and we can sell this. So
So like a pirate Yakuza scenario.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense.
I love it.
Mhm.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it
For sure.
Well, I'm sure that we'll be
only
getting
on
more news.
only on Switch 2.
Switch 2 exclusive, yeah.
Switch
And
2
announced
exclusive.
unceremoniously via
Look
a
at that.
5-minute YouTube video. I'm sorry, not on a YouTube video, on your Nintendo Today app exclusively, which I definitely have, and I definitely didn't watch on YouTube and find out via Twitter.
Boom. Yeah, you're hilarious. Again, I need to download the Nintendo Today app because clearly I'm missing out on so much great content like Splatoon Raiders, which I'm so invested in. We'll probably get more news. You said what?
I was just gonna say tough times for people like me who thought maybe there would be a Nintendo Direct this week. I would say they would have saved that for the Nintendo Direct.
Sucks.
Yeah. Console launch.
Sorry for
I'm sure we'll get more news about Splatoon Raiders in the near future. But let's leave the world of Nintendo and let's jump into the world of Xbox. We have some news from, I think it's about 2 days back now, would have been released after the Sunday Xbox showcase, which you can hear more of our thoughts about that this Thursday, dropindropout.com. Go check us out. Go fuck with us.
Oh,
at the dropindropoutpod.com. The Outer Worlds 2 becomes Xbox's first $80 title. Ooh, gentlemen, we knew that like everybody was going to follow suit after Nintendo, raised their titles up to $80. Is this the title that Xbox should be making their first $80 title? I don't know because I've not played it, but do we have any early opinions, any early thoughts? Cayman, the dumpster boy, talk to me. I love you. I need it.
I got my sickle and I got my hammer, brother. There is a. I mean, we all knew it was going to come sooner than later. There was going to be more $80 titles. The irony, the fucking irony of it being Outer World 2.
Yeah.
There is a tone deafness to this announcement.
Yes, there is.
That is fucking hysterical because the trailer ends where it's like a game about capitalism. And then you turn around and you're like, this whole game is about satire about how awful corporate greed is and XYZ. And then you turn around like, we're the first Xbox title to launch at $80. And it's just like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
What an absolute shit show of a launch. They should have fucking just I don't know, man. Fable could have been the first one they could have done it with.
Yeah.
They'd been kept saying that the new Perfect Dark game was the first quadruple A game. Make that fucking $80.
Yeah.
Why? Not just that. But I think there's also a problem with the game that they chose, not from just like a theme standpoint, but from the franchise standpoint.
Yeah.
And it's that the Outer Worlds is not a franchise title that exudes an $80 price tag to a consumer. Mario Kart is. Mario Kart is a premier prestige franchise. Outer Worlds is a hot fucking 7. So like, it is a 7. And I love 7s, man. But it is a 7. And are you going to tell me that the new Outer Worlds is going to be a 10 out of 10 game? I hope so. I mean, fuck, just for players' sake, I hope every game's a 10 out of 10.
Sure.
It'd be dumb not to, but like, I don't know. I just feel like you're not putting a lot of confidence behind a franchise that like you did not build up very well. You kind of shittily supported it, just randomly announced a sequel to, and then have tagged on a really negative connotation to it, a huge asterisk mark to a franchise that I don't think people are hot on. And so it's just a bad decision just across the fucking board.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Jake.
Okay.
Talk to me.
There's like two sides to this coin because on one side of it, I see at first my thought was that's so ridiculous. Like $80 for the Outer Worlds for everything that Cayman just said is absolutely insane. And then for somebody like me who's not into it, it also like what I know, I think I played a half hour of the Outer Wilds, maybe. I'm not a Fallout guy. really. I kind of like Elder Scrolls, but not that much. I'm a fan of Obsidian and the work that they do. I think it's cool that they have always like taken somebody else's game and made arguably a game like better than its predecessor, or at least holds a torch to its predecessor, and has never really like fucked it up terribly.
Yeah.
But the thing that I always hear about Avowed and that I hear about Outer Wilds 1 is that like it's a bite size, it's a smaller, more condensed version, more absorbable version. Like the idea, the franchise Outer Wilds and the franchise Avowed, which I'm assuming is a franchise now, to me are synonymous with like the word small, like
Yeah.
or like the small scope. And now to turn around and be like, not only is it still the small scope, which I don't know if that's the case. Maybe this game is fucking bigger and this deserves this $80 price tag and they really went balls to the wall. But if it's the same deal as last time and what seems to be the par for the course for their games over the last couple of years, it's tough to see that one be the $80 game.
Yeah.
Now, in the other way of looking at things, Xbox is in their bag from a fucking business standpoint. These motherfuckers are about to solidify their overarching W in the video game industry. I think PS4 and maybe PS5 will be historically the best Sony ever does. And I think that the future is Xbox. Like, I think that they are just making such a value proposition and gaining such a fucking market share with Game Pass right now that it's starting to get really fucking crazy, especially if they're nailing this cloud stuff, Xbox PC, all this new branding. Think about what they're doing to your average gamer. Also, it was arguably it's unverified, but a leak on LinkedIn that Game Pass has 35 million active subscribers is so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
if that's the case, and that's the situation that we're living in, Xbox is making it just so incredibly fruitful for you to just sign up for Game Pass to play their games. $80 to play Outer Worlds, and then not only that, making Xbox the console place to play your games, because look what's happening. Everyone goes, just launch your shit multi-platform. And they say, okay, we will. And they launch fucking Outer Wilds on Outer Worlds 2 on PlayStation 5 for 80 fucking smackaroos.
Yeah.
Anybody that's got a computer that could possibly run it is gonna plunk down $20 for $10 for Game Pass. What is it for PC now? Like $12? It's cheap. That's the cheapest one that you can get. Is going to do PC Game Pass. If you have an Xbox, you'll do regular Game Pass, and that's how you will enjoy the Outer Worlds. It's going to happen, obviously, for Xbox owners. They will obviously go the Game Pass route instead of buying it. And then PlayStation owners that own both consoles that maybe lean towards PlayStation are going to start going Xbox more and more. And that's going to keep happening. I would guess that that'll be a similar thing that happens with, like, think about it. If we're talking about GTA being more than $80 and we're already in this $80 range, how much do you think Elder Scrolls is going to cost? It's not going to be cheap. $80 minimum we can expect. And the same deal, man. You have an Xbox or you're playing on the cloud and you've had a good experience so far. You got a PC that can run it. I don't want to pay $80. Like, if I just want to play this fucking game real quick, I can do it for $10 on the side. Let's do this thing. I think that's how they steal their market share away. I think they've already been doing it for a while. And I think this is just another point in their direction of full fucking supremacy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dude, I totally agree with you. And this is what's so interesting is that, like, as somebody who has Game Pass, has an Xbox, but has a PlayStation, Doom: The Dark Ages was one of my most anticipated games this year. And I didn't buy it for the PS5. Because I already had Game Pass. You know what I mean? It's exactly what you're saying. Like, I want my trophies on PlayStation. I recently looked up GameFly to see how much it would cost me to rent Doom: The Dark Ages, run it for like a week on the PlayStation so that I could get my platinum trophy and then send it back, because I don't want to spend $70 on that game when I already have Game Pass. So I find that so interesting. Something else that's crazy this year about Obsidian that I haven't really put together until this moment.
Bro, they three-peat.
Three-peat, dude. Putting out 3 games in a year is crazy. Now, at the same time, I have something to say about that, and that's about what Cayman said. Cayman, you said something great. This franchise does not evoke $80. It's a 7. You know what I mean? I did a little bit more research. Avowed scored an 81 on Metacritic this year. I'm sorry. You're not hitting 91, 92, 93. If you are, maybe you can walk out with your cock out. But we're just not there. That's just not the kind of game that it is. If you're doing this with the new Halo Studios game, or fuck it, even Blade from Arcane Leon, I think I can like respect that and earn that and whatever. But I agree with Cayman that I think that this was so tone deaf given the context of this game, given the story of this game, given the tone of this game, like what they're talking about. It's like, dude, you're talking about capitalism, like late stage capitalism and how it just eats everything, right? And then you made me pay $80 to play it. And at the same time, I agree with Jake's point, and that's that, like, yeah, like they're in their bag, because here's the thing. The three of us are Game Pass subscribers. None of us feel the burn of that $80. I saw that and I was like, oh, that doesn't matter because I have Game Pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know
Hear
what I
me
mean?
out.
Yeah.
Hear me out. I want to throw a posit to you from a perspective that I don't think anyone's really thinking. So JP Morgan Chase just announced that prediction, or not JP Morgan Chase, excuse me. It was based off of a report they released, and then there was another nonprofit that studies the economy. They released a report in like response to it, essentially stating, as of right now, the United States and potentially the world is facing a global recession of 45% by December.
Yeah.
So here's where my head's at. As we all know historically, what are the first things that you start cutting when it's like, I can't sustain the lifestyle I'm living? It's subscription services.
Yes,
those are the very first thing that you start cutting.
Yeah.
So there goes Netflix. There goes Hulu, HBO. There goes my Game Pass subscription. I can't keep these up. I'm dropping these.
Yeah.
What I see is that Microsoft is playing on a very thin wire, where this could go one of two ways. This could either be the nail in the coffin for the entire video games industry, because they have essentially done like Jake said, and have isolated everyone else out by being like, you can never beat us based on what we have. We essentially monopolize the games industry, which Microsoft is essentially doing with cloud. And that's going to be busted up by the FCC most likely within the next 10 years. So just be aware of that. Put that pin in that one for that one in 10 years. We'll come back, revisit. Rabbit in the chat, do it. But my thing is, like, you have that option where like they're lining their pockets and then maximizing profits elsewhere. But the other side is, if people go, we can't afford Game Pass anymore because Microsoft is going to increase the cost of Game Pass again.
Yeah.
Then that's going to be something where like people are going to be like, no, I'm going to spend money on one game every 3 to 4 months now instead of having a subscription. And I'm going to have to rely on my back catalog or go dumpster diving with the dumpster boy, you know?
Yeah.
So they're on a fine line where like this could backfire tremendously by like setting the stage that they are, you know, that they're going to start putting out all of their games, presumably from this point forward, will be $80. And so it is like, it depends on how this lands. It could be monumental shit show over in Microsoft world if the economy does crash. But then again, that could be the same for Sony. I mean, I think Microsoft setting the stage a little more apparent than Sony is because they haven't announced a game at $80 yet. So,
it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
But I do think that we're starting to hit this point of like price differential between that it is not really like I think when the situation comes down to it, I think we're getting further and further away from the point that you were talking about like maybe I just buy 1 or 2 games this year. In reality, the better value proposition is literally you can get more than 6 months of Game Pass for less than $80. Like if you just pay, if you have a PC Game Pass, which is the lowest tier, you know, assuming that that's the case, it's $11.99 a month right now for the foreseeable future. That's half a year of Game Pass. And I mean, fuck, at that point, let's look at like Game Pass for the first half of the year right now, just off the top of my head. I mean, we've got Avowed is well worth it. We have Grounded that's about to come out. We have Elder Scrolls Oblivion that already hit this year. South of Midnight. We have Doom the Dark Ages that we were just talking about. I haven't mentioned anything third party or any of these small games that are great experiences. I mean, there is just like no beating around the bush. The best value in video games right now. We're living in a golden age of like, we will talk about for years, like 2020 through 2025 and how fucking incredible of a deal Game Pass was, because this subscription is going to be like $80 a month at some point, you know, 20 years from now. Like there will be no more games and they will only be on subscription services, you know, and it will become the Blu-rays that are not being stocked at Walmart anymore and they're harder and harder to find at Walmart. That kind of thing is going to happen here. And I think for Xbox, the thing that they're doing that is maybe smart, like if we are assuming that they are just playing this exactly correctly, you got to assume that ripping off the Band-Aid with a game like Outer Worlds 2 is the way to do it, so that the headline is Outer Worlds 2 is Xbox's for $80 game is a better headline than Fable is Xbox's $80 game, because it's arguably negative on a game with a lower ceiling for profits than Fable is. So it's like, if you're trying to control your negative headlines, you make fucking Outer Worlds take the brunt of it and give Fable its best ramp to success, I guess. I mean, that's again, if that pans out the right way, Fable could be fucking flop. It won't be, but
no,
devil's advocate there.
And I think that you're probably right. I think that of all of the games to announce this with, it probably is the game with a lower ceiling. I think that regardless, that conversation about Game Pass is always going to be interesting. And that's always the question of how sustainable is it? We've been talking about that for 3-4 years now. We've had that conversation many, many times. But like to Cayman's point, yeah, I do think that at some point, Jake, you just said it, in 20 years it's going to be $80. How long do they have to wait before they give that price hike in this economy that people can't justify? That's the question, is when does that price hike happen? Because I think it was 2 years ago, Phil Spencer, there was some leaked document that if Game Pass didn't hit 50 million subscribers by 2023, they would have to like shut it all down because they wouldn't be making enough money. That's why this push of pushing all these titles to the PlayStation 5 has happened, because they never hit the 50 million. They only are at 35 now. So how much time do they have? And like, are PlayStation gamers invested enough in the Outer Wilds 2 to go and spend that $80? I don't know. Doom the Dark Ages, sure. Outer Worlds 2, maybe not.
Question. Yeah. How long do we think we see, let's say, Indiana Jones? How long do we think it takes until we see Indiana Jones drop, let's say, 39 or below?
Probably now. I bet I could get it right now for that.
No. On
PlayStation.
On PlayStation.
Holiday season, like Black Friday, it'll be $40. Yeah.
Okay. So we think that, because my thing is if you look at what Nintendo does, they just never change prices. Nothing ever goes on sale. And you pay a premium price for all their shit, and really no one bats an eye, which is fucking insane. That it's like, I remember it was like, I wanted to go get a copy of, I think it was New Super Mario Bros. On the Wii, I think was the game. And I wanted to go get a copy of it. And it was years after. I think the Wii U had just come out. So this game had been out for years. And I went to GameStop and it was still $60.
Yeah.
And I was like, what in the flying fuck?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? But that is Nintendo. So then the question becomes, if you don't have to lower the prices ever, and you could, in theory, just be like, hey, you can forever pay $70 to play this game or $80 to play this game, or you can just come on over to Game Pass. And it's almost like it works almost like we might not make a lot of money on Sony or like on the PlayStation, but we can drive PlayStation players off of PlayStation because they're just like, I'm never going to get a fucking deal on this shit. I need to go get Game Pass somehow,
Yeah, and I think I would agree, but like, do you guys remember when the stats were released last year from like the highest selling games on PlayStation, and like 5 of the top games were Xbox games? Fucking Sea of Thieves, Forza Horizon, like,
for sure.
Holy shit, dude. PlayStation players want to play these fucking franchises. So I think for now, their method is working, which is that I think, Cayman, you're right. Leave it at $70 fucking because our greedy asses pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, we're willing to do it. As the economy gets worse, maybe that starts to change.
Right.
And maybe we do see a change in Xbox's approach.
Yeah. And I think so much of this is like, a lot of the comparison that we're doing is to the idea of physical and digital games, when in reality, it is going to become more of a digital subscription versus a digital license ownership. We're seeing a lot of that start to sneak out right now, of like, wording is changing on these digital storefronts. Like, you are buying a license to this game. You do not own this game. You are able to play it for as long as the game is supported or whatever. Like, once the console generation goes by, eventually these things are going to get phased out. Like, I have the Xbox 360 store isn't there. I have games downloaded from it. My 360 still connects online and stuff like that, but it's not a thriving ecosystem any longer. And there's going to be a time where they're going to tell me that go download the shit you want from that store, because that store is not even going to be able to be connected to. And at that point, my first ever
do it.
I know, but like, the digital purchases that I've made that are the oldest at this point, outside of like Steam, which is evergreen, are going to go by the wayside, and it'll be the first time that like that DLC is now no longer accessible to me, and I've yet to have like a situation like that, which is going to be a wild thing to reconcile with for the first time. But as it becomes more and more normalized, I think Game is exactly right.
Yeah, this is why we buy physical, ladies and gentlemen.
Mhm.
Folks, let's jump into the news spotlight, where we do some bite-sized stories to keep you in the loop. I'm going to open up with Gears of War Reloaded. Gears of War Reloaded kicks off a multiplayer beta on June 13th on all platforms. It runs 2 weekends and is open to Game Pass Ultimate and PC members, Digital Ultimate Edition owners, and Reloaded pre-orders. Gentlemen, I think that like I played the beta for the 2014 remaster that released like what, over a decade ago now. I don't know that I need to play this beta. Will either of you be jumping into this beta?
I'll do one night of it. I'll do one
Oh.
night. I mean, I'm such a sucker for like a new thumbnail and a new shot at a, somebody clicking in and seeing what's going on with the YouTube VOD type of thing for a new game that's coming out, that I usually like will hop into most betas just for a couple hours or a portion of a stream or something like that. But I think it's cool that PlayStation owners have the opportunity to play it if they pre-order and they're like already bought in. And again, just like the Tony Hawk demo, I think it's cool that we don't need to buy it outright or upgrade to a deluxe edition. We just straight up get that shit by being a Game Pass subscriber. Like, again, for the consumer that is not out there buying $80 games like Outer Worlds 2, sure is pretty nice that this weekend they've got a whole new fucking Gears of War multiplayer game to play with their friends. Even the ones on PlayStation that are spending $80. So yeah,
that is fair. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm in your boat, Maury, where I've recently played the remaster, the first game, and was like, all right, cool. I honestly probably won't even pick it up for a hot minute, just because I've played the game so many times. I don't think there's much change here that's taking place, but that's on one man's opinion.
No, I agree, but Dumpster Boy, I would bet money that at some point you and I both pick this up for this sweet, sweet platinum. Getting a platinum trophy for Gears of War on PlayStation.
Ooh, that's novel.
That's a mind fuckery, bro. Jesus Christ.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you got me there.
Of course. Also, Steam Next Fest is live, demos and deals until June 15th. Go get some fucking deals, bro. Go fill up your Steam cart. Go see what in your Steam cart right now is discounted at a ridiculously stupid price.
Take a picture. Send me what your Steam wallet looks like.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Send it over to Steam wallet.
Show me that thing.
Show me that Steam wallet.
God damn. With that being said, Konami's Press Start Showcase airs June 12th at 6 a.m. Pacific time. Jesus Christ, that's early in the morning. I get it. I mean, it's a Japanese company. Featuring 37 minutes of Metal Gear Solid Delta, Silent Hill F, and more. I'm excited.
I'm in. Konami, like, dude, this is, I hope the format of this show is weird and wonky. Like, we didn't get a Ubisoft show. We haven't gotten EA shows in a long time. There was a really weird IOI panel recently, but we didn't get like a Capcom thing, and Capcom usually does like a digital showcase for around the same amount of like time. But Konami entering this, I think, is really interesting. They have 2 pretty big games coming up, which are cool to showcase. I'm interested to see more Metal Gear and how they present it. And then I am very interested to see what And More is. Like, is there a world where we can get like a Castlevania or something like that?
Yeah.
What's up with this old IP? Probably getting my hopes up for no reason, but let's see what happens on Thursday morning. That's an easy one.
Yeah. The And More is their new casino machine.
For the record, little segue. I know we're kind of on our way out of here. Drop In Drop Out Pod, of course, .com can get you to Drop In Drop Out, which is our other podcast. And that podcast is centered around Summer Game Fest this Thursday. Because it's happening Thursday morning, because of the rules that we set up for our predictions, whatever happens there is indeed going to be judged and added and qualified and quantified in the results for our predictions. So just saying,
wow,
that thing, you'll hear more about it on Thursday.
Yes, come tap in with us Thursday. And for our last announcement of the news spotlight, the Zelda movie has been delayed. Tweet from Nintendo. This is Miyamoto. For production reasons, we are changing the bro. I'm sorry, it fucking fries me that it starts out with "This is Miyamoto"
every time. Okay, it's like this like thing. I don't know if it's Miyamoto. I'm assuming it's Miyamoto being matter of fact, but like this is a very frequent thing. All the time, Nintendo tweets from their accounts, but when it's a Miyamoto fucking tweet, 100% of the time, it does not just say like at the end, like attributed to Miyamoto or something like that. The first line of the quote is the sentence, "This is Miyamoto," period. And it's so fucking bad. Dude, It is a sentence that adds command present to a tweet.
Yes.
I read a fucking Nintendo tweet that starts with "This is Miyamoto." I'm like, all right, let's fucking go. What you got for me, big dog?
Yeah.
I'm interested.
And it just says snack wrap, please. Like, oh, Miyamoto.
Miyamoto, we got to get that snack wrap.
Jesus Christ. Well, he has some, I mean, I don't know if it's sad news. I guess if you were really excited about this, maybe it is. For production reasons, we are changing the release date of the live action film of The Legend of Zelda to May 7th, 2027. It will be some weeks later than the release timing we originally announced. We'll take the extra time to make the film as good as it can be. Thank you for your patience. I wonder what this is for.
Casting is imminent is the only guess that I have.
Yeah.
Hunter Schafer is Zelda.
Oh, come on,
dude,
baby.
I fucking hope so. But it is definitely something like I bet they got a big star for either Link or Zelda who didn't have availability until this date, and they're like, fuck, we have to push everything back 7 weeks or something like that, or whatever the difference is between release dates, is my guess. And we'll probably get, at the next Nintendo Direct, probably a very similar thing when Miyamoto was like, now please let me introduce Chris-san, and it's like the CEO of fucking who does it, DreamWorks, right? Is that who did the Mario movie?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Or was it an Illumination? The people who do Despicable Me?
Oh fuck, you might be right. Actually.
I thought it was Illumination.
It is.
I'm not gonna. I'm sorry. I'm not moving to go grab my copy off the back behind me. You guys can get fucked. I've already done it once. The bit's done.
No, that makes a lot of sense. But I do think that is probably related to casting news, and we'll get some kind of like. I don't know if it'll be a first trailer or anything like that, but I want to say when they first announced the Mario movie, but when they did like a direct for the cast announcement where they brought out the other Chris-san, and he had that weird thing. He's like, I've been playing Mario since I was a little kid in the arcades, jumping up and down on Koopas. Like he had all these weird pauses. I remember he was like trying to remember names. It was very weird, very funny. I wonder if we get like a casting announcement or something like that, like a pre-produced Nintendo thing where they build a little bit of hype before the first trailer that like, hey, it's being shot now. Here's the cast. Get excited or get the controversy out of the way.
Folks, who knew Jake had such a great Chris Pratt impression? I fucking didn't.
It was really good.
It was really fucking good. Well, that concludes our show. Oh,
I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. We're not done. Chris Pratt's
here. Here's what's gonna terrify the audio listeners. Is they're gonna be like, when the fuck did Chris Pratt show up? Actually show up for a second. He was there. He was here, guys.
Well, I'm gonna open up J-Law's canister and make her spend time with me. He's a Southern man now.
Yeah, he is.
That's the plot of Passengers.
That is, oddly enough, yes, that is the plot of Passengers. You were one of the only people who's ever seen that movie.
I've seen it.
The three of us are the only three people in this world that watched that movie.
Yeah.
Passengers rules. Have you ever seen the video where the dude, it's some famous YouTuber, I'm so sorry for not giving proper credit, but it's like a chat about like editing, how you could like take everything that Passengers has in its like hour and 45-minute cut and rearrange it to tell a story that is so much more interesting by having the first half be told via a flashback, and it's like a reveal of the decision that he made, as opposed to like it starts with them spending time, but then at the somewhere like you learn as soon as she learns that he was the only one who was supposed to be awake, and he doomed her by spoilers for Passengers.
Yeah.
So, okay, hold on. This actually reminds me of something. There was a clip that was recently released, I think, or maybe hasn't come out yet. Who knows? Where I edited it in a way in which like 90% of the clip actually happened afterwards, and it tells a completely different story.
Yep.
What I love about this is that I'm a stupid piece of shit.
Right.
And I knew how to tell a better story through editing than the dudes who fucking made Passengers, a $200 million movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad.
Are we in the wrong industry? I think is the question.
It's possible. Jake, are you willing to do something else for a little bit?
No. I like it here.
Okay,
but I do want to mention that the video is called Passengers Rearranged. It's 9 minutes long from the Nerd Writer 1 on YouTube, and it's fucking rad. It's a good watch, especially if you've seen the movie. And even if you haven't seen the movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, go check out the Passengers director's cut from What was the gentleman's name again, Jake?
Nerd Writer something.
Nerd Writer 1.
Nerd Writer 1.
Nerd Writer 1.
I remember one.
I have a feeling that we'll get Chris Pratt back on the show very soon. I look forward to his company. Gentlemen, is there anything else to cover? Is there anything else I missed?
Maury, you did a great job fucking hosting, man. Land this fucking plane.
Let's land this motherfucker, goddamn me. Thanks for joining us for Spotlight Games, a weekly podcast covering games news on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. That was now here at dropindropoutpod.com, really twitch.tv/dropindropoutpod. That was here. An absolute pleasure. Thank you to everybody that joined us in the chat. You will be able to find us again this Thursday evening talking about Summer Games Fest, breaking down the predictions that we made and seeing what we hit and seeing what we didn't. But in the meantime, you can go check out our vast array of content, again, at dropindropoutpod.com. Go check out our YouTube channel. Show us some love. What a pleasure, gentlemen. Thanks for being here. And now we're going to wave at the camera as we say goodbye to our sweet, sweet chat. Bye!